The composition is the structure. So the structure is a puzzle. And it has to do with eliminating, or would be called subtracting, or adding elements to the painting to eventually end up with a strong painting, which means a strong composition. I am an abstract painter primarily. I work in oils. I also work in mixed media, which would mean charcoal and pencils with it. I include representational forms in my abstracted paintings. Even if it's very abstracted, it will have a horizon often, most of the time. And living here in Provincetown, because I am affected by my environment, often you will be able to imagine a sky or the land or the ocean when you're looking at the work. I paint like a printer. I'll start off with, let's say, with a canvas, and I'll mix up a large batch of color, because I whether it's a 11 by 14 or a larger work, I paint with, unless I'm doing very detail, I paint with 2.5 inch, house paint brushes. I'll start off with what I call free abandon, and whatever color I want to work with that day, I will use, large, bold strokes until I can come up with a form of color that I love. And if I can't, sometimes what I'll do is I will take a rag that's saturated with a mineral spirit, or even dry, and I'll wipe some of it away, or use the mineral spirit, and I'll end up with a residue of the color, and to create a form that I love. So once I create a form that I love on a blank canvas, I set it aside because it's oil paint. I want it to dry because I don't want to have muddy colors. And with the leftover paint, if there is any, I'll look at other paintings that I'm working on. I'm often working on 15, 20 paintings at one time. And if I can see where I can apply that color, or if I can change the color by changing the pigments of it, then I'll use it on a painting that's already started. If not, I'll change the pigments and use the color up on another blank canvas in the same format. Once that the paint is dry, then it's ready for me to do the next layer, and that's the process. I work in layers of paint. I'm finished for the day on that painting once I've created a form in relation to it that I love. And then it just builds up, and then I'll start canceling out areas, or I'll add color to areas. It's like a puzzle. This is from 10 years ago. It's one of two that I have left from the same thing. I came into class with a painting that was just red and yellow, and then the next painting had more until it evolved to a piece that was going somewhere. So this started in 2012. And the last time I painted on it was 2022, and I think it's finished, and I've even stamped it, but I'm still contemplating it. So that's, you can see, sometimes my process can go for 10 years. I have been painting since I was a little girl. My mother was an artist, and she started an artist guild in this little town that I grew up in, the same size as Provincetown. And I would paint with she and her peers. I also painted with my peers. My sister and I took a private class from a woman in town who was an artist, and everyone in my age, they were all my age group approximately. We learned perspective and how to paint with oils. And I remember her calling up my mother and telling her, complaining that I would not blend my colors. And you can see that in my work even to this day. it's not about being out of control. It's about passion. You know, it's allowing those passionate strokes and movements to happen, and not squashing them by being, you know, too controlling.